to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kira Show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku and Amethyst have just been in a tag team fight. But before I begin, over on my community tab, there is a poll for 2 what-ifs. Confident Deku in a Villain Lantern series, which a lot of you probably haven't seen coming since it was out of nowhere. Along with that, well, they have been stuck in my head for quite some time, and I've been thinking about them. And, well, I kind of do have the story planned out for both of them, because they've been in my head that long. Now then, with that being said, let's begin. Anyways, Deku, he's at least been able to get Sapphire talking, but he just needs to get Ruby to talk. Amethyst, she's agreed to help Midoriya, and she knows that she has about 1 or 2 more weeks before parole reforms. So, that is going to be a big help, or a good factor. Meaning that if they can get Ruby, then they could probably make Garnet reform permanently for a while. Now, this is going to be the problem though. Garnet reforming is going to be probably or hopefully under better circumstances instead of a fight. Now, Deku, he has been looking for Ruby. Sapphire, she doesn't really know a good place to look. And all the possible futures she sees, Ruby is usually somewhere warm or cold. Not really anywhere in between. At one future, she's actually at the docks or by the boardwalk. But that's not really a good outcome either. So, Deku and Amethyst, they're at least talking and training more and more. They spend one day at least checking to see how Midoriya can fight, and exactly where he's at. Him and Amethyst will be fighting and figuring this out. Deku showing off his bubble, his shields, and more of his abilities, along with actually blasting fire breath at her. Her dodging actually going into her spin dash, as she would rush towards Midoriya. Deku just throwing up his bubble and immediately blocking it, as she would have tried coming around for a different attack. Basically just smashing into this thing over and over and over again, to see what she can do with it. Until Deku would throw it down, and immediately just jump upwards into the air. Her just stopping and immediately just throwing out her whip and pulling him to the ground. Deku slowing down his... Deku actually bending downwards and trying to pull onto the whip himself, as he would have been able to at least hold on to it. These two, at least, having a bit of tug of war. Amethyst actually going to pull the whip, as Midoriya is just holding onto it. Him just letting go as she would go falling backwards into the ground. And he would rush forwards. Him at least trying to think. Amethyst is, well, she's trying. He knows that. But so is he. As he was stopped directly in front of her, holding his hand out and saying that was at least a good spar. She really had him. As she would really shaken it off, saying that that's fine. But anyways, where's your human friend? Oh, Mina's not here yet. She said she'd be busy before today. Besides, I'm still wondering where Ruby is. She's our problem right now, right? Well, yeah. But do you even know where Sapphire is? Hmm. Well, I think so. Last time we saw her, she was at. Hmm. Deku just thinking. And beginning to actually look for her. Warping around the warp pad until he would get to the giant warp area. The one with the warp to homeworlds. She is just staring at it. In one future, she sees that thing turning back on. And homeworld getting here. Meaning that someday that might happen. And she doesn't want it to. She's basically just staying there, waiting for it to, though. Since it's one of her most unlikely outcomes. And she is thinking. Whenever Deku did find her, she is well out of it. At least trying to look more and more. Deku actually shaking her out of her fatigue or her mindsets and pulling her back. Whenever she was looking into the different futures, she somewhat lost herself. Since she's trying to find one where everything is okay. But it's getting harder and harder. The more time she looks, the more time she realizes things get messed up. Now, this is where they would ask her one question. Where exactly would they go? Or where would Ruby go? Someplace that feels familiar to her. She was listing off the names of comrades. What about anywhere related to them? Right? Sapphire just saying that there's not many comrades left around. Most of the ones they had were corrupted, but probably one related to the war. As Deku just asked a question. More, in fact. What would be there? Or what comrades? Before, she would just say that they did have one in particular. She went missing one day, and they never found her. Not even a shard of her gem. They thought she was captured, or possibly even rejuvenated. Deku asked exactly who would that be. Her just saying that would possibly be Bismuth. Deku asking exactly what is a bismuth. Sapphire just stating that they were agricultural gems. They build structures, like the Sky Arena. Any structure on Earth was built by a bismuth. So that is where they got this idea from. Some wanted to build towers, some built statues, some built places. Our business, though. As Sapphire would somewhat smile, saying that she built weapons and armor for the rebellion. Now, hearing that, Deku would at least be a bit more surprised by that. This does sound like a crystal gem. In fact, he would have liked to meet her one day. Too bad he might never get the chance. Now, Deku and her would begin to warp around. And, eventually, Lion would get in the way, trying to come with them. Lion being the one who is a bit more complicated. Lion wants to stick around Steven, and he's not really sure why. Deku, at least. I realize I said Steven. Deku, at least keeping him around, and allowing him to come with them. They would get there and begin their walk or their journey. Walking around the mountain and actually eventually getting to Bismuth's forge. Finding that the place is already open. They would walk in and just find Ruby. She's just standing there and looking at what's going on. Certain things in certain areas. The forge is still cold though, since she has no reason to run it or even activate it. Now, Ruby would just be confused as to how they got here, asking her if she used her future vision. Sapphire is saying that she did. It's not just that. They still need to fight Jasper and get her issue solved. Ruby just turning around and looking at her, asking exactly what does that mean. We try and figure this out. Rose Quartz, leader of the Billion, Diamond, the one who ruled Earth, and, well, probably would have had us shattered. She was perfectly content with us being destroyed back then. Then we made Garnet. She is, something different. Yet you still act like we aren't her. Now, Sapphire would jump in immediately, shouting that she knows they are her. In fact, she knows it more than anything else. She isn't always just plain, trying not to show any emotion. She sees the future and she knows everything. Even then, Ruby has seen it too. They've been together long enough to know that they are Garnet, deep down. Her individual components, her quirks, even the little things she does with her personality. They are divided up in between those two. In fact, without them, Garnet would probably not exist. Without them, Garnets would be no one. They would be no one. They don't get meaning from Garnet. Their meaning is Garnet. She's a symbol of what they can be. Freedom. And something that a lot of people don't really like. Not even Homeworld. That's why Blue tried to get us shattered. That's why Bismuth encouraged us. Now, this is where she would go on stating that all of her friends did, all of their allies. So, we are going to solve this problem with a Jasper. Then, as she would just hold out her hand, saying that they will find their allies. They will get them back. What do you say? Now, this is whenever Ruby would at least hold out her hand. And she would at least hesitate. Still not sure what to do. She does want to form Garnet again. That's good and all, but right now it's probably not the best time. Her at least just standing up and saying that they can talk. I'll at least try and keep an open mind about this. Now, that being said, Midori would have tried to get answers to what this place actually is. Hearing that it's the forge used by the rebellion. Every single weapon that he's ever trained with, or even, well, used, there's a chance that it was made here. The chance is about 90%. Some of the other ones, Pearl actually got made by world famous blacksmiths and weapons craftsmen all around the globe. Now, this would be kind of an odd thing to Midoriya. And he would go for Lion. He's just thinking, Lions always had a bit of a thing. What was it? The tree. He completely forgot about it. As he would jump into Lion's mane, confusing both Sapphire and Ruby. As he would appear back in that dimension where you cannot breathe, and begin to run around. Now, he runs straight for the tree, immediately heading over there and looking at the base for Izuku. He would just pick that up, along with staring at the chest, not really sure what's inside of it. Taking one end and immediately just dragging it away. As one thing would happen. Midori would just pop out of Lion and pull the chest out of his mane. Kinda surprising Amethyst, Ruby and Sapphire, as he tries to at least open it. He doesn't really have a key, so as he would just motion to Ruby, asking her if she knows something that would help. Her just summoning her weapon, and actually just trying to bash it across the lock. That being not very effective. And then Midoriya would do one thing, himself. Summoning his shield and actually just trying to break the lock off. Until he would have busted the chest basically in half, being able to pick up the top portion and move it. Looking through it. Now, there is no official statement as to what is in this chest. So, for the sake of it, I'm going to be making up some items. There is a couple things. There's a jacket, another movie tape. In fact, there seems to be multiple in here. And, well, there is at least something that she didn't really plan on. There's a little ukulele in here. Something that she may have at one point played in her lifetime. Along with, well, a videotape labeled Confession, and one labeled The Truth. Deku not really sure what to do with this, deciding to put it back in the lion's mane. As he does so, he would actually have a bit more time, setting all the tapes inside and at the edge of the island, then looking up to see the bubbled gem. Is that just a corrupted gem? As he actually just walk up to it, jumping upwards into the air and grabbing it. Then actually just running back out of the mane. As soon as he comes through, he would have somewhat fell, and the bubble would have burst open. Ruby and Sapphire are a bit shocked. Is that? No, it can't be. As Bismuth would reform, surprising both these two. Them immediately just jumping at her, the first chance she stands up. She is a bit confused though. She was talking with Rose not too long ago. She poofed. Now she's back and, well, here again. Thinking that this just happened. Asking these two exactly what happened to them. And why are they so... Why are you not garnets? As the two would just start, well, just crying a bit. Their old friend is alive. As she would have turned around, expecting to see rose quartz, only to see a little boy with green hair. And, well, a pink lion. Kinda confused at this. Until Deku would have just extended his hand out saying, "Hi, well, Bismuth, right? I've heard a lot about you before." Her kinda confused. Shaking his hand, but still confused. Now, with that being said, the gems would kinda just tell Steven to head back to the temple and they'll try and fill her in on everything. It's going to be a bit complicated though. Now, Steven would leave. As soon as he does get a little bit of distance away, he would have heard a loud scream. This being Bismuth's realization, along with her basically finding out that pink diamond is rose quartz, and vice versa. Instead of screaming into the lava, she would have screamed into the distance, still finding it a bit odd. Realizing that the breaking point, Rose Quartz didn't want to use it on a diamond. She didn't want to use it on anybody, which, well, seems to be a bit more noble, or possibly even a bit more greedy. It's not really too sure. A diamond's motivations aren't usually good. Now, whenever Deku does head back, this would be where Mina is there, sort of just asking if he's ready to train. Amethyst kinda let her in, and she's been talking with her at least. Deku just saying, yeah, they'll train in a minute, but, apparently we found a new gem. Oh, really? Was it corrupted? Like the rest of them? You kinda sound different about this. Well, no, actually, that's just the thing. Apparently, my mom was hiding a bit more than I thought. The gem was actually inside Lion's Mane on that island I told you about. Huh. Really? Well, I guess I'll get to meet her, right? Uh, yeah, but it's probably gonna be a minute. Ruby and Sapphire sort of talking with her and explaining things. Along with that, I think she took the information well. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And this is going to be my, well, only video I post for right now. Because, sadly, I have to work today. Now, I do hope you guys enjoyed.